Malliotakis. Congresswoman, Mayor Eric Adams likes to say that it's not crime, that it's the perception of crime. Really, is this just a figment of our imagination?
Yeah, it's so insulting to New Yorkers to tell them that what you're seeing and reading about and experiencing on a regular basis in New York is just not happening. It's similar to the president telling you that the economy is great while you're struggling to put food on the table and keep a roof over your head, with Bidenomics causing such high inflation and cost of living increases, and them telling you that the border is secure when we see the mass illegal immigration coming over our border and the impact it's having on cities like ours. So the Democrats are gaslighting once again because their policies are simply not working. Some Americans sadly believe it, and they'll keep voting for these individuals. But others, and I believe the majority of Americans, are seeing what is happening and that they're being sold bill of goods by these Democrats who have put in place these policies that have been so reckless, and we're seeing it play out. The federal, state, and city policies of the Democrats have come to a head, and you're seeing it particularly with this illegal immigration crisis. Biden let them in. Governor Hochul is releasing them back onto the streets if they're arrested thanks to bail. And then the mayor won't comply with federal detainer requests to have them deported.
Here are some of the facts. Major crime in New York City has risen by double and triple digits since 2019, going into the end of last year. So there is a clear nexus, as you're talking, between this precipitous rise of crime and the lax bail laws championed by state progressives. Do you think that things will be different when they go to the ballot box next time? You brought that maybe some voters are buying into only perception of crime, but do you think now it's become so pervasive that people are going to finally wake up?
Well, look, I'm seeing that dynamic shift in my district. We've been able to flip multiple local assembly seats in my district over the last 2 years, and it is because we're out there explaining to people why they're paying more for their utilities, why they're seeing more crime, why they're seeing other things taking place like this mass illegal immigration crisis. So people are understanding what's going on, and the Democrats are just banking on that Americans are stupid. It's so insulting to the American people that's what they're banking on to win the election. But we know, and I think the vast majority of Americans know, that their policies are a direct what's the direct cause for the destructive quality of life that they're seeing in their neighborhoods.
Here is what State Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie had to say about crime. This is a stunning moment. I can't believe he said it. Take a look.
I just don't believe raising penalties is ever a deterrent on crime. There's already things in current law to deal with people who assault other people.
How do you respond to such a ludicrous statement, Congresswoman?
It's just incredible. I mean, the Democrats really believe that there should be no criminal penalties, that these repeat offenders should just be able to roam our streets, that people coming here illegally with illegal weapons that are members of gangs, that they should just be released repeatedly onto our streets and be allowed to stay here, and at taxpayer expense, by the way, because the mayor's offering them luxury hotel rooms. So not only are we experiencing these crimes from these gangs that have come from Venezuela, but on top of it, the mayor is offering them a luxury hotel room at your expense. So this is what the Democrats believe, and the sooner that American people recognize it and vote them out, the better off we will. Carl Heastie, who is the Speaker of the New York State Assembly, has one of the worst districts when it comes to crime. In fact, there was an article in New York Post today talking about how when it comes to rape and other crimes, his district is ground zero. So he is doing this to his own constituents.
Yeah, I saw that story, and crime is up in his area, in East Bronx, 27%. So it's clearly not working, this fantasy of just let them roam free. The other thing I want to talk about also, Congresswoman, is also squatters, because there was a lot of cases, speaking of which, in the Bronx, what a surprise, surprise, there were 8 squatters that were found in that house. It turned out in that particular home, these were migrant squatters. They were from the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. In the house, they actually had drugs, ketamine, which is a very strong drug. They had guns. They were beating up somebody with a pipe in front of the house. There was one that was wanted on attempted murder, and it was right across the street from an elementary school. And it wasn't until the headlines came out that finally ICE was aware where they were and was able to arrest them. How big of an issue is that?
Well, this is a perfect example. Joe Biden changed the policies at the border that allowed these individuals to enter. In fact, CBP were told by the administration to release them into the interior. So they were gang members. They were released into this country because they were not properly vetted. Then they come to New York. They commit these crimes, illegal guns, illegal drugs, as you say. And what happens? Kathy Hochul's bail law released them back onto the streets. And because they're in New York City, the mayor decided that, well, not the mayor, but the city council decided that, we're not going to cooperate anymore with ICE. And so they, instead of being turned over to ICE when they were forced to be released because of the bail law, what happened? They just disappeared. So now ICE has to go out of their way and try double the effort, triple the effort to now go find these individuals. I spoke with ICE after they were released from the city, and they gave me their word that they were going to find them and detain them. And I'm glad that they've done that. They've now found and detained 4 of those individuals. But it's ludicrous that the Democrats in this country are allowing this to do. They're going out of their way to pass policies to allow this to happen. And people need to wake up and see the correlation and vote these individuals out. Because if you continue to vote for these Democrats, you are condoning this. You are saying you want more of this to happen in New York City and across the country.
Yeah, and as we're talking about migrant crime, before I let you go, this week we know that some of your colleagues are going to walk over those articles of impeachment for Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas for what is a pathetic handling of the border. There's word now that another New Yorker, Senate Majority Leader, Democrat Chuck Schumer, has said he's essentially going to quickly dismiss them. What does this say to you?
Well, look, it's no surprise because Senator Schumer has worked against us at every step of the way that we've tried to secure the border. We passed H.R. 2, which is the toughest border security act probably in America's history. And guess what? Chuck Schumer still won't allow it for a vote, and it's been sitting around there in the Senate for a year. The fact that they are continuing to allow Mayorkas to ignore the law, because the law says clearly, you come into the country illegally, you're supposed to be detained and then deported. You're not supposed to be released into the interior. And Secretary Mayorkas issued a memo to Customs and Border Protection saying, even if they have a criminal conviction, that's not grounds alone to deport these individuals. So he is really the main part of the problem, he and the president. And the president, remember, used his executive authority to dismantle the policies of President Trump that were working and securing our border. He has the authority to undo it today. Okay, so Senator Schumer is hiding behind some bipartisan bill that he can't even pass in his own Senate, saying that we need to do that to get anything done. That's just simply not true. The president has the discretion to undo this crisis today, just like he created it, via executive authority. Our bill, H.R. 2, would require the president to do these things: reinstate remain in Mexico, end catch and release, et cetera, make changes to asylum and parole. But the Senate bill doesn't require, it just gives the president some more discretion, which he already has and he's not using.
Exactly.
So if Senator Schumer actually wants to be helpful, he should pass H.R. 2, and he should send a message to Mayorkas by impeaching him.
Yeah, it is stunning after everything that he has not done on the border. I'm glad, though, at least the impeachment articles are going over. Congresswoman, thank you very much. It's really great to have you here. We appreciate you being here on the show.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.